any of you who are watching. No pointing, you cannot send me StarCraft 2 replays. Because I'll just tell you Terran are OP and that you should play Terran. But anyway, I'm just gonna jump right into this. This is a game where he's doing Shen in the top lane, and I watched this already, just to get a sort of idea of what I'm gonna say. In the future, I might just kind of do it live, but for this game, I already kind of have an idea of what I want to say about it. So hopefully this loads. There we go. Alright, so his name is Ishmael. He's right here, if it ever shows them. There we go. He's Shen. He's against Malphite in the top lane. It could actually be Malphite mid and Fizz top, but because I already watched it, I know it's going to be Malphite top against Shen. And they have kind of a weird team comp. They have Leona for initiating, Ahri for like picking and assassinating, and sort of Lee Sin and Ahri kind of do the same thing. Hold on, let me check this text real quick. Alright, so this team is kind of a little bit more coordinated, or at least it's more obvious what their goal is. So they're gonna be doing Malphite ultimate, Sona Shyvana, and just kind of dive in and start killing things. Whereas this team is a little bit more about picking people and like split pushing with Shen, I guess. Anyway, right away, you should buy your items before 20-30 seconds. I always make this mistake, but it's worth noting. You should have your items and be out of the fountain at like 10 seconds. But so another thing, he starts with a Doran's shield. It's a good item on Shen in general, but I think against Malphite in particular, I would start with something like maybe boots, or I don't know, maybe something else. Like I'm a fan of wards and potions as a start. I know not a lot of people do that. I like maybe even just like a null magic mantle. Doran's shield just isn't that useful against Malphite. If you really want just the health regen, you can get a rejuvenation bead or even 2 rejuvenation beads. Build them into a warmount or something. But so it's not a bad item just because it's good on Shen in general, and the basic attack stuff will help because you're fighting Malphite in melee range. But it wouldn't be the first item I would think of against Malphite. Anyway, let's skip forward a little bit. Here, you could be watching the jungle instead of standing at your tower, but that's not a big deal. You don't have any wards to place or anything. And it doesn't end up mattering. So let's get into the lane. So it's kind of, you kind of start out just by farming, throwing Vorpal Blade, so that's good. Every time your Vorpal Blade is up, you want to just throw it at the enemy Malphite. One really big thing, though, is that Malphite's passive, it gives him that little health bar. It gives him a little bit of extra health, and it relies on him not taking damage for a while for it to refresh. So the more often you do damage to him, the less often his passive will be up, and he will shield less damage. So it's important to really keep hitting him. And like there, you let his passive come back up, and that's not something you want to happen. You want to keep throwing your Whirlpool Blade, because it's on what? Yeah, it's like on a 6-second cooldown, compared to his 10-second cooldown. Sorry, it used to be 8, but now it's 10. So you have a 4-second window where you want to be throwing Whirlpool Blades on him. So the fact that his passive is coming back up at all is kind of a problem. I realize that you're using Whirlpool Blade to harass sometimes, but it's just something you want to be aware of. So this is kind of just farming. You're not really doing a whole lot. Now Lee Sin comes in. He's waiting for you to do something. You could just taunt right there. That could have been an opportunity for you to taunt. But it probably didn't matter a whole lot either way. You probably would have just gotten a little bit of damage on him. I doubt you could have killed him there. Okay, so moving on, you're still just farming. One thing that I see a lot of Shen players do, I play Shen sometimes, but obviously I play mostly Mordekaiser. But one thing I see a lot of Shen players do is use their taunt just like every single time it's up to harass. And it's something I would have liked to see you do in this lane as well. You're like standing on top of him, and you're just kind of holding on to your taunt. Alright, so for this gank you use the taunt finally, and you get the kill. So good job there. Good job by Lee Sin, and good job by you for landing the taunt. Yeah, so we can just skip forward. This is just you against Shyvana, not really a whole lot going on. She's pushing, you can't really do anything to her. And alright, so here's a kind of interesting part. You know that the lane is pushing toward you, and you want to either let it push into your tower and start farming it, or you want to freeze it just outside of your tower. And Shen is kind of a bad champion for pushing back against things. But one tip that I would give you, if you're really trying to freeze the tower, or freeze in front of the tower, like it looks like you're trying to do that, I would recommend attacking caster minions instead of attacking melee minions. And the reason for that is that caster minions at the same time do more damage, and they're easier to kill. So by killing caster minions first, you will actually be more effective in freezing the tower. This is a really good job by you. You get you use your W to freeze the lane without taking too much damage, and just sort of face tank the minions and keep the wave away from you. But again, here you're kind of messing up. You're not attacking anything. So as more minions show up, it keeps the pressure kind of uneven, and it's just your minion management can be a little bit better. Like here, you could be hitting. I don't know. It kind of looks a little bit sloppy to me. Anyway, you're still winning in CS, which is really good. You're up by almost 15, and the wave did end up where you wanted it, because you face tanked the minions with the W. I think with better minion management, you could have avoided doing that altogether, but you still did a good job getting it where you want it. But going back to harassing, you've been kind of slacking on that because you've been focusing so much on minion. So again, you could be taunting him. You could be wolf awaiting him more. Like there, you could have taunted him easily. You could have even gotten behind him and taunted him toward you. So his passive is coming up a lot, and you're not really doing that much damage to him right now. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. You are at level 6, so I think the next thing that happens is you use your ultimate somewhere. There, that could have been a taunt. Like, every time you apply pressure like that, you could throw out a taunt and hit him with Key Strike, Whirlpool Blade, and your taunt, instead of just hitting him with Whirlpool Blade. You do it here, so that's really good, but I think that's the only time that you taunt him at all 1v1. Even though, like, your energy is really high most of the game, or most of the lane. Like, there could have been a taunt in there, and so on. Let's skip ahead. You're still winning the lane, it's just you're not dominating it, and like, you're not crushing him as hard as I think you could be. You could be playing more aggressively with your taunt. So I think... No, you don't ult here. You go back here, that's kind of a small mistake, but it's worth looking at. You walk all the way back and kind of just let him farm, when you could have, and you should have really, just kept pushing the lane into the tower. You most likely, I think what was happening is that you were scared of the jungler coming in and ganking you. But it's not really worth worrying about. As Shen against Malphite and Shyvana, I think you could have safely pushed this, and you decided to do it anyway. But you kind of stepped back first, so that little hesitation, it lost you an opportunity to go back more safely. But now, yeah, like you're kind of stuck in lane now because you just want to farm, whereas you could have gone back, and you already have. I think that's enough for Wit's End, actually. You have 2.6 thousand gold, so you could have gotten a Wit's End, and that would have been really good. But because you hesitated there, the lane kind of reset, and it stopped you from going back. Especially as Shen, you really want to seize opportunities to go back, because you can't clear the wave and then go back very well. So you should have taken the opportunity when you had it. And that, again, you're not losing the lane, but you're not crushing the lane either. And it's because of small mistakes like that. I think here you finally do go back. But again, you're not denying any CS or anything to the tower. And he's still pushing, so we can kind of ignore this. I think maybe you could have helped him there, but you have your ult. So we'll pretend that, that you were planning it ult if that got out of hand. But yeah, so because he didn't push the wave all the way, he gets an opportunity to go back, even though he was low on mana. Oh, by the way, something happened here. Good job. Leona goes in. You go in with Leona. That's a really good thing that you did here. Nice taunt. Nice kill. Good job. Cool. But yeah, while this was happening, Malphite could have, he didn't, but he could have kept pushing this tower. Whereas if you had pushed it out earlier and gone back earlier, you would have had more control over what was going on here. Let's see, what else do I want to say? Oh, here you make a mistake just in map awareness. So you come in here, you get this kill. That's all good. And then Malphite starts teleporting in, and you can see you just walking away. And then you're like, oh shit, Malphite's here. So it works out okay because you land this sick double taunt. But you could have reacted to that sooner. This is kind of bad, but that's just Fizz. He can get this kill no matter what. And unfortunately, there's not a lot you could have done there. So I won't blame you for that one. And then you go back up. This is a good decision. You see this top, and you know you wanna, or and mid really, and you know you wanna stop the pushing. So you leave bot. Some stuff happens bot, but whatever, it's not your problem. You take this farm. Good job, and then you go top. Alright, and now we're back in lane. You have a Wit's End at this point, I think? This is one of my friend's replays, and I'm just analyzing it to sort of let him know what's going on and how he can play better. Alright, so we reset top. You have your Wit's End. He has Spectre's Cowl, so good items for both of you. And kind of just move it along here. You place a ward. Good job. Good ward. And so just to clear up, we know what your objective is. You just want to push down this tower. You're pretty much even in the game. And auto caster is better than auto melee? What do you mean? I want to answer this question. This is the guy whose replay I'm analyzing. Oh, I see. Yeah, to auto casters is better if you want to freeze the lane. Yeah, if you want to push the lane, then autoing melees is better. But autoing casters will let the lane stop in its tracks. Alright, anyway, going back to this. Yeah, so you want to take down his tower, which is kind of difficult to do because he has a lot of wave clear. But the thing you can rely on is that he's going to run out of mana eventually. And you're fighting him very comfortably 1 versus 1. Because you're 20 CS ahead and 2 kills, or you have 2 kills, he has 1 kill. And you're really demonstrating that you understand that, so you're pushing. Whoops, I didn't press that. Anyway, you're pushing. You also have your ultimate up, so I think that happens a couple of times, but in general you're just staying here and trying to pressure him from under the tower, hitting minions, and so on. It's kind of boring, but you know, that's your job. You tried to ult, but someone died. I guess we can go back to that, just because it's fun to watch. You walked back, and then you ult right there. And you don't even see the shield come out because Fizz does so much damage. Cleopas, yes, I will play Mordekaiser later. I just want to do this analysis real quick. I'm taking a break from playing. So stick around, you might learn something from this, and then I'll play some more solo queue games. Anyway, I think you just keep pushing here. So he's slowly running out of mana. And I don't think you... No, you do complete that. So I think that's a problem. I don't think you should have done that. And the reason for that is you basically got him out of mana. So that's really good for you. And after he ran out of mana, you could have taken his tower. But because you leave, you give him the opportunity to go back and refill on mana. So you drop all the pressure that you spent all this time sort of accumulating in this lane. So because he went back right there, it gives him the opportunity to go back. So let's go forward a little bit. I think he pushes and then goes back as well. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he just goes back after you get back. So that's not good. And the other thing is, when you went back, all you bought are a Giant's Belt and a Chain Vest. And those items are not, they're not useful for you right now. You want the Sunfire Cape, because it'll let you push against Malphite, but the Chain Vest doesn't do anything for you unless it's a Sunfire Cape, because he doesn't even do physical damage. I don't think. Yeah, he does magic damage with everything, except his auto attacks. And you don't need the Giant's Belt either, because you're winning against him 1 versus 1 anyway. So, given that you went back, you should have waited until you had a Sunfire Cape to go back. You went back for no reason, and you let him refill on mana here. So you could have probably snowballed the lane a little bit harder if you hadn't gone back there. But anyway, you keep pushing, so that's good. You get some damage on the tower, also good. Keep pushing. So this is what you should be doing. So that's good. I don't know why you went back there. You could have just kept poking him. I guess you were scared of jungle ganks again. So that's not bad. That's pretty reasonable. Alright, and then you keep pushing. Shen lanes are kind of boring to watch just because that's all you do is you just push and push and push. You stay back a little bit. I think you're scared of jungle ganks again. And you keep pushing. Here you could have maybe been more aggressive because you knew Shyvana was mid. Maybe could have ulted in here. That could have been a cool opportunity to get a kill, possibly for your team. But Malphite can always stop you with his own ult, so... Alright. You ult in here. Oh, this was pretty bad, actually. I remember this from earlier. So, Ahri gets in a fight. She's kind of in trouble. And then after she's completely safe, she's used her flash, and she's taken all of the damage. That's when you ult him. And so, you kind of use your ultimate for no reason, and you kind of awkwardly just have to walk away. And in the meantime, like seconds later, there's something going on here, and if you had used your ultimate here instead of using it in mid, it might have been a lot better for your team. Obviously it's on Lee Sin for like walking to their team for no reason, but yeah. So this is very accurate. But even given that, like in exactly the same spot at the same time, when you walk back to ult here, you could have waited, like if you had just been back here and then waited like 2 seconds, then you could have ulted in here instead. And maybe started like a good team fight for your team. Because like Graves and Leona were both coming up there. But Lee Sin just died too quickly. But anyway, walking back. Now your ultimate's on cooldown, so I think you just farm for a little bit.
Red team has slain the dragon.
Red team gets the dragon, so they're pretty far ahead at this point. So you get the tower. So good job on that.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Stuff is going on, but you don't have your ult, so you can't affect it. Your team comes back a little bit. So now you have your Sunfire Cape, which is really important for you. Sunfire and Wit's End is going to let you push really hard. Oh god, I can't even push him. There you are, you take wolves. Good job, keeping your farm up. Bot lane takes their tower. Mid lane is still up, so you've taken 2 towers at this point. And you lost mid tower, I believe? Yeah. Alright, so now with your Sunfire Cape and your Wit's End, you're just like full push mode. That's all you have to do, just keep pushing. Alright, you find an ult opportunity. Let me slow that down. Oh, how do I do this? I'm not used to the replay system yet. You missed that taunt, which isn't great, but you could have flashed for it actually. But whatever, you get the kill. You get that kill. Alright, and I think here you make... No, maybe not here. Let me see. Yeah, I think this was kind of a mistake. So you go back right after you get 2 kills. Like, you know Malphite is top. You know there's 5 of you here. There's like a turret in mid. There's this turret. Shyvana's like not even... I don't know what she's doing. So you're 5 versus at like maximum 2 and actually 1. You're 5 versus 1 in the bot lane, and your choice was to recall. So that's kind of a panic switch went off in your head where you're like, oh my god, my tower is going down. I have to go stop it. It would have been so much better for your team if instead of recalling, you had pinged mid and just taken that, or if you'd pinged this tower and just taken that. Because you're not going to stop them from taking this anyway. It takes you too long to get there, and then Shyvana shows up and it's just like... You know, you're awkwardly just walking up the lane while your tower is dying, while there's 2 people dead on their team.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
I think you get mid tower anyway, but there was no reason for you to go top, regardless.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
After that, I think this is also kind of on you. They're pushing this tower down. They're kind of all on this, and Malphite's just walking. You just saw him, and he's just kind of walking to mid lane. You should have seen that. You should have realized that Malphite was gonna come in here, and you should have pinged them back, because they're doing shit. They're making plays. Are you telling them? Okay. I didn't see a back thing, so.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, like you should have just been spamming back thing, because then they get this tower, and then that is pretty That sucks. That's a 3-man Malphite ult, and that just kind of goes to hell. Graves dies, Ahri dies.
Red team double kill.
They're kind of like, oh shit. I don't think you had your ultimate quite up. Let me double. No, you did actually. Maybe you could have even ulted in, like just to follow Malphite. And maybe you could have gotten like Vayne if you had. Anyway, but yeah, you could have managed that better. You were in a position to do something about that, and maybe your team was just really dumb. But I just figured I'd point it out just in case. Let's see. So now you're defending mid, which is good because you just saw a ton of stuff go down mid, and you're down 2 players, so this is a good decision. You get Vayne. You get. Oh my god, I can't do this. There we go. You get. I think that's it. Alright, so now your ultimate is up. You go back and buy. I'm not sure what you buy here. A Giant's Belt. I don't know what that's turning into, but that's reasonable. It's a good item on you. And then, yeah, going back to split push top. So one thing I would say here, which is kind of, this is kind of a playstyle preference, and this is something I say just because I have a lot of split pushing experience. But I think in this situation, what you should have done is you should have switched to bot. I think Malphite, he's pretty comfortable playing against you at this point. He has a Spirit Visage, which, you know, blocks all your magic damage. And he's been playing against you already, so he kind of knows what you're doing. And he has a lot of wave clear. If you had gone bot instead and just switched it up, it would have just kind of made more sense because it lets your team hang around Baron, which is pinked for you, as it happens. And you can take this tower probably more easily. Even if you don't take it, you're going to be in a 1 versus 2 situation instead of a 1 versus 1 situation, which frees up more players of your team essentially, because you're going to have a 4 versus 3 on the top half of the map instead of 4 versus 4 like you do right now. So I would have gone bot after he recalled instead of going up here. And then Graves dies because why not? It's like extended past river with no word. Kind of funny. See, I'm not sure what you're scared of, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You're scared of like ganks or whatever. You just keep pushing. Stuff goes down there. Here, I'm actually not sure. I was watching this earlier and I can't really decide. It looks like you just fight her because you're 3 levels on her. She's kind of fed. But you have armor and you have a Giant's Belt. So I think you could just fight her here. And you never do, so I never get to find out whether I'm wrong. But if I were playing this game, I would just go in on her and see what happens. Even if I die, I think it'd be worth finding out. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Another thing that's kind of related to this is I think in this game you should have got a Ninja Tabby. The only thing that you really, like, you're gonna get Sona ulted sometimes maybe, but aside from that, like, Malphite Q is like the only CC on their team. So honestly I think getting a Ninja Tabby is just better, because they have like a fed Vayne and you really want to mitigate that damage. But yeah, so here you never fight her, so there's not a lot to say about that. Like, she shows up and you back off a little bit again. And then you ult into a wonderful team fight. And you get a ton of kills. That's good. Yeah, like, it's good that you kept Vayne up there. So what you're saying is that you're trying to keep her away from team fights. And that's correct. Like that's what you should be doing. Because you're up there, she's not anywhere in team fights. And you can teleport in, she can't, and she's their fed carry. So by keeping her away from team fights, you're doing a really good thing for your team. So that's why you end up winning this fight. It's because Vayne isn't there, and it's like a really convincing win. You just kill 2 people. Then you kind of chase for a little bit. You don't get anything. But that's fine. You maybe could have taken... I don't know, there's not really anything to take. I don't think you could have taken Baron safely. So yeah, I guess that's fine. And then you go back to pushing top. So doing your job. I think in this case, actually, this is also kind of a mistake. You're pushing without your ultimate. Your ultimate still has half of its cooldown up. You should have switched to defending a tower or grouping with your team while your ultimate is down. Especially after Ahri died. Like, Ahri dies and you kind of keep going, but you know you have a disadvantage on the map. And you know you're not going to be able to ult in if something happens. And your team drops a ton of kills here. They get kind of destroyed at this tower. And all the time you're unable to ult in and you're not really doing anything either. Like you just push a couple of waves and then go back. So I don't know what the general lesson from that is, but there's a lesson there somewhere. I think it's just like while your ult is down, you should be grouping with your team. And then you keep pushing, so this is fine. Because now your ultimate is back up. You could have ulted in here, actually. That might have been a decent idea. Let's see. I'm so bad at controlling it. Alright, so you're fighting something here, which is why you didn't ult. Let me see if I can figure out. Yeah, like, this is kind of weird because you're going down here, and then you get distracted by mid, I think? Oh no, that's not what happens at all, that's just my little replay glitching. Alright, let me watch that again. So, yeah, this is happening, and you go for Sona, but at this exact time, if you had ulted in here, this would have been an easy 3 kills for you. And instead you're fighting the Sona, which isn't terrible, but this is just so much more important. And I understand that I probably would have made exactly the same mistake. It's hard to like watch your fight and watch bottom at the same time, but like this is pretty huge. Because you could have made a big difference there. They're both low. And you don't even end up getting Sona. Alright, moving on. This is a huge mistake. This is pretty bad. You're down 2 people. They're down a person. I don't know what you're doing here. You kind of just decide to make up for these deaths by pushing the mid tower, but you're not really in a position to do that. So you get pretty close, but boom, 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 boom. You don't get the tower and Graves dies. And I think that's actually it, because just fast forwarding through this, they use the fact that your AD carry is dead. They get kills, you get kills, they take Baron. I kind of just zoomed through that, but summary is your team gets killed, their team gets Baron, and in like 10 seconds. Oh, actually, I think the replay is a little bit broken, but that kind of, they just use that advantage to snowball against you. And that's pretty much it. Like after this they win and your team surrenders in like a minute. I can't fast forward through it for some reason, but that's what happens. So, I guess like to summarize what happens is you could have dominated your lane a lot harder. You could have made a few decisions that, even though you're ahead of Malphite, you could have taken his tower earlier. You could have bullied him out of lane earlier. You could have maybe killed him even. And those decisions would have really helped you out. And after laning, yeah, it's mainly just your map awareness that needs a little bit of work. And especially as Shen, that's like a huge thing. Like getting perfect ultimates is really difficult. Because you can ult to initiate as well as to defend, and seeing the correct opportunities for that in solo queue is really hard if you don't have somebody calling out for your ultimate like on a competitive team. So yeah, that's basically it. Like you played well and you won your lane, but you didn't play well enough to carry. So you have to fix those mistakes so that like even if you corrected like 2 or 3 of those mistakes, it could have snowballed the game in such a way that you won instead of dying here, giving a Baron, that sort of thing. Because it was pretty even, like almost until the end, like at like 22 minutes in or something. Yeah, like you're like 1k of gold behind. It's like not a big deal. Even though you're 3 kills behind, you're up a tower. But yeah, like this decision right here, where you go up to stop top instead of continuing to push, like you have to see advantages like that. You have to see that you're 5v1 against Fizz, so you should be taking all of their shit instead of stopping a tower that's gonna die anyway. But anyway, yeah, like I guess that's it. That's all. That's all the mistakes I could find in this replay, and hopefully that helps you.